to the All UVcast channel. This is Alberto, and I'm going to be bringing you another episode of the tactical breakdown. This one ahead of Salernitana versus Juventus. All right, now the two teams, Juventus, desperately need to win their next string of matches against, without any disrespect, lower sides needs to result in victories. They have lost Federico Chiesa, okay, until after the Christmas holidays. McKennie also went down injured in the last match. He is day to day, however. But against Salernitana, they sit last in the table, and you can probably guess that this tactical breakdown doesn't hold a lot of depth with this team. And you'd be right. Salernitana has only scored 11 goals so far this season. Okay. Juventus is weak in terms of numbers statistically for offense as well, only bagging 18 goals. This one is going to be a really, really straightforward one for Juventus. It needs to be, and it must be. Again, we've broken down a lot of matches now since our subscribers have asked us to start doing these videos. And it's funny because I've got a lot of positive feedback when they watch games and see these back. You can see all of these things unfolding, and Juventus has essentially been unable to deploy the proper game plan and approach to effectively hurt their opponents. And against Atalanta was no different. We saw probably about 3 sequences of what Juventus should have strived to do a lot more often and frequently to hurt them, but we just didn't. Only mustering up one counter in the first half, which was pretty wide open. In the second half, Atalanta clamped down, so your counterattacks were going to fade and disappear. But what you needed to do was move the ball with a much, much quicker tempo. Juventus did a good job, but again, the lack of creativity and ideas in the final third remains an issue for Juventus when teams clamp down. That's been an issue for 3 years now. So let's see what happens. But let's start getting into this Salernitana one. So we'll pull up the slides here. And basically with them, it's very, very straightforward. If Ribery is in the lineup, he is without a doubt the key focal point to what they do. They use him as their pivot and their creator in essentially all scenarios as long as he's on the pitch. When he's not off the pitch, it's a really plain Jane game from Salernitana. They will get the ball out to the flanks and they will cross it in, putting about 3 in the area and a couple in cleanup, just looking for picking up the garbage. So it's very, very straightforward game plan. With Ribery, it becomes a little bit more technical from them, but still asking a lot of the Frenchman. So here you have him showing, and then the run that comes off of him, he will look centrally. He will look to shoot himself at times. Here he simply slots it over to the oncoming rum, and the shot, actually, this one does end up in a goal for Salernitana. So Ribery is the main piece, the main focal point for them offensively. Here you have the end of that particular play. Now we go to another one with Ribery. He'll drop. He will go to the flanks. He will go wherever he needs to be to make himself available. And from there, it's simply who shows and what happens after it. So here you'll see this player all the way from out here will come into the space here, okay, to show for Ribery. He will accept the ball. He simply touches back as Ribery starts to continue, already getting by his man after the pass. So you have to mark him immediately. Can't get caught ball watching. Simple little touch. Ribery actually back heels it to the forward here on the other side of the ref, and then he will go into space and get the ball played back to him. And from there, boom, you have even man rush. Ribery's running at one defender, which will isolate him. And then the second one kind of gets caught coming in, being prepared as if Ribery was going to beat him, slots the ball over, and this one actually ends up in the net too. So again, there's not a lot with Salernitana. This is a team that doesn't score a lot of goals, but Ribery will be clearly and easily the one that needs to be shut down. Can Juventus do it? Of course we can. We have the ability, we have the talent to man guys up, and we should be able to do that. If you have to throw an extra one at Ribery, you could still get away with it with Salernitana, of course, with all due respect, because the other guy's quality is lacking. Now, how do you hurt Salernitana? They employ the 4-3-1-2. Okay. They do support with a couple of those midfielders. So they like to defend when they can get set up with five straight across the back. And you'll even see midfielders dropping in there to make it six. So two out of those three midfielders will drop deep enough to make it almost six coming back. If you get them on the run, you've got to just move the ball quickly. You stretch them out here, and they have this major tendency, which is to collapse. They will collapse extremely deep. Here you see the ball to the trailing run. First guy actually dummies it. Second one puts it in the net. So these guys, Salernitana, major tendency to collapse completely with their back line. Here again, a good example of the four across the back, two mids coming in, ball out on the flank right here, and you'll just see the space open up right here. Right here. So you get the ball deep, get on the flanks, hit the top of the area, and your guys got to be ready, and they got to have their shooting boots on. Juve can't be any different. Have to get your shooting boots on. Here again, there's no pressure here. You have one player over here, another here on the ball, and they are still just completely unaware situationally, and they have such a bad tendency to leave guys alone at the top there. This one doesn't end up going in the goal there, but again, gets the ball over there, and there's guys just strictly marking space for the sake of collapsing defensively and allowing guys the time to have these hits. This one doesn't go in their net, but again, this is really it from Salernitana. There is nothing crazy or in depth to get into with this particular team. Okay, defensively, they like to shell up. They like to put almost six at times back, and they collapse. We have to support the striking force with our mids, and they have to be ready to have attempts. Okay, we might have to settle for more shots from outside, but again, if you can move the ball quickly enough in the opportunities you do have against the Salernitana, get it deep and then look for those trailers, you can really hurt them. And it should be there essentially all day, because that is how they get punished continuously. In terms of them in an attacking phase, if you can rule out Ribery, then it just becomes them sending three into the area and just simply settling for crosses. So there isn't a lot there. You have to shut down Ribery. Have to, if they start getting the crosses in, I like our chances based on who our back line is. All right. That's it for Salernitana. Expect a victory. You should expect a victory regardless of form. And hopefully this can be one where we can bag quite a few goals, put the pressure on them, clean it up early. We see that Sule has now been rewarded, being called up to the senior side. He will be with them. Max spoke in his press conference today that he just needs time. He's happy that he's there with them and whatnot. I'd like to see this game put away and put to rest in the first half, and then potentially get some of these guys on the outside looking in some minutes and move on to the next one. Big string of games. It starts with Salernitana. Let's go out there, get the victory. Hope you enjoyed the tactical breakdown. Like the video, subscribe to the channel where it's all Juve all the time. Fino alla fine, Forza Juventus.